Indian business tycoon, Devita Saraf.
First few years we just went into building the back end of the business, the product labs, our stores, the team, getting it right, and then scaling it. And we are the largest Indian-owned television brand in the world. Since 2014 to now, we have reached 1,000 crores.
She's Forbes model CEO. She's Fortune Most Powerful Women 45th in her rank, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. What makes this powerhouse the way she is? Let's meet Devita Saraf. Hi Devita, welcome to our show. So great to have you.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Super. So today we are talking about scale, right? And we want to know more from you. How have you scaled your business and what's your journey been like?
Well, it's been a long journey. I started this company back in 2000. From 2006 to 2014, we grew slowly, going from, of course, zero to a 65 crore company. And since 2014 to now, we have reached 1,000 crores. So it's been a bit of a J curve where, in the beginning, we were just getting the product right, the team right, the distribution right. And as soon as we had the entire sort of ducks in order, we were able to scale the business. And then today we're at 1,000 crore revenue. So we have 300 employees, we have 11 offices, we have sold 25 lakh TVs, and we are the largest Indian-owned television brand in the world.
Super. So you can tell us a lot about scale, right? How did you know that your company was poised for scale and for growth? So what are the various parameters that we could look for?
I think one of the things is you kind of have to balance money and time.
Mm-hmm.
So either you raise money from the outside and you really burn through capital fast, whether you're building your back end, whether you are scaling technology, whether it's people, places, marketing, whatever, working capital for anything that you will need. You can either just really give that burst of money. But the problem with that is that it dilutes your own equity as you're raising money. And as when you raise money and you scale, you don't always realize just how cash guzzling a business can be. Or you can use time as your biggest asset, which I used in my case because I knew I wanted to be a businesswoman for the rest of my life. I knew I wanted to be a businesswoman since the time I was probably 4 or 5, and I think I want to be one till the time I die. So I knew I had to play a long drawn game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So instead of wasting and burning cash and just raising money, I organically decided to grow the business. I took seed capital from my dad. I've never taken money outside. And as I said, the first few years I just went into building the back end of the business, the product labs, our stores, the team, getting it right, and then scaling it. So it took us 14, 15 years to get here. But the good part is I own 100% of the business. It's profitable. We have cash reserves, and I don't have to, struggle with just getting investors all the time.
The whole idea of doing it organically, sustainably, is that you have time on your side and you are able to scale in a more profitable manner. So, in fact, that's my next question, right? That do you have to juggle profitability and scale, or how did you do it in your case?
So, what happens is, this is a great question. I find that for a lot of new age companies, they judge themselves based on valuation. And I'm quite a traditional business person where I care more for bottom line than top line. And I'm not going to make any decision with the mindset of being a loss leader that, let me burn capital in the beginning and then at someday I'll recover price. So every decision that I make has profit in mind. So when we are growing the business, as we're scaling the business also, we keep rethinking that, hey, is this distribution taking too much of our margin? Is this product giving us enough realization? Is this target segment too difficult to acquire, costly to acquire? So because every decision is kept keeping a return in mind, scaling is the objective, but profit is what we think of on a daily basis. So we don't always just think of we need to grow as the first point. The first thing in every decision is this going to make money? If it makes money, then let's do more of it.
So in fact, you don't have to scale at the cost of profit or at the cost of cash. You can also do it organically and you can also do it sustainably, as we said before. Apart from burning cash, what are some of the other pitfalls you think that happens when you scale too fast?
I mean, I have not scaled too fast. I think I've scaled very steadily and slowly and cautiously. I think one of the biggest things also as an asset for us in View is is the people. You know, the team we have, the customers we have, the vendor relationships we have, the distributors we have. So what happens is when you scale the business over a period of time, of course you want to grow large so that you know you have returns for all the years of effort. But when you're scaling it slowly, you also give your time to your team to learn and grow. One of the biggest things that people who raise too much money is, as they say, they throw money at the problem. So if they want to say build a bunch of stores, or they want to build a factory, or they want to make a new product or something, the first thing is let's just poach someone from a competitor. And as a policy, we don't poach anyone from anywhere because I don't think very highly in any case of most of some of you know newer brands that have come in because they're very focused on just price and not value. And so we try and see that as we scale, we also, make sure that the relation that we have with, say, a distributor gets stronger, that he makes a good profit too. Or that my team member, that, if we're going to give them a raise, when you're giving someone a raise, you're expecting that much more work. So if you're giving someone 100% raise, you're basically saying you need to work double. And people also need to be able to go from like, second standard, third standard, fourth standard. You don't go from KG to 10th standard in a year. So we've also made sure that you build a very strong and loyal team when you're growing and learning accordingly, because it then builds a very solid relationship you have with your customers, your team, everyone around you, and you're a very solid ecosystem. Now that has great value in a situation like today, where in a lockdown, if I had just got outside employees and I didn't have a strong relation with my team, the first thing would just be like, pay me your amount. In a situation where people have been with you for a long time and you've been with them for a long time, you're much more resilient in handling ups and downs and changes together.
Super. So I do understand, the different types of businesses, the different types of scale. And I come from, a business which is where we look at unit economics, right? So for us, every unit or every hotel has to be profitable, and then we can move on, say, to the next unit, right? About your business, how did you do that? Did you, because there aren't units in your business, so how did you go about thinking about scale? Did you look at a certain geography first? What were the strategies that you employed?
So, a couple of things. I think we have been very strict in being true to who we are.
Mm-hmm.
As we scale, we just saw which are the products that we have currently that can scale,
Okay.
and which ones we want to discontinue. So, for example, if we're doing displays and televisions, which is the center of our business, we do everything that is related to displays. We've not gotten into making home appliances or software or even entertainment content or any of that. So, scaling doesn't mean that you bring out the serial entrepreneur in you and try something new. Scaling means that can you do more of what you're currently doing. The second thing is also customer acquisition. India is divided in many parts. If you're selling mass, you probably have like 120 crore people to reach.
Yeah.
But if you're selling class, the audience just gets smaller and smaller. So you want to increase what the ticket size per customer. Then you're saying, hey, I'm going to get the same customer, but if I sell him a TV for his living room, let me sell him a TV for his office, his bedroom, his kids' room, wherever. You want to increase your billing per customer, because just customer acquisition, as they say, is 7 to 9 times the cost of an existing one. And I would say the third thing for us, again, when it comes to scaling division of geographies, demographics, you have to try everything and you have to see who adapts to you best. So we have geographies in India, for example, where people just absolutely love our product, and certain geographies where it's a little slower. So, for example, markets like Bangalore, Gurgaon, Pune, where there's a lot of young professionals, Bombay, Delhi, sells super fast. Hinterland, traditional markets, rural markets, we don't get them, they don't get us. So, I would say that 87% of my buyers today are coming from metros. So I'd rather stick to a geography where I'm strong and be number one or number two than just sort of have this sort of spray and pray approach. You don't have to be nationwide. You can be nationwide, but that doesn't mean your business has to be uniform from every geography.
The Pareto principle, right? In fact, for us also, I mean, it was like 80% revenue coming from 20% of our property. So that is absolutely correct, and that's how it really works. So
Yeah.
you've heard Devita, she's spoken about customer acquisition, spoken about being number one in her geography, and she's also spoken about getting the product right. So places where the product adoption is the quickest and the best, and that's really the greatest way to scale. Super. Thank you so much, Devita. Thank you for your time. And before you go, we have a lot of budding women entrepreneurs with us. So please, one piece of advice, one key takeaway for them when they are looking at building scalable businesses.
So I'll tell you something that I learned at Harvard Business School, which they said that when you're building and running a business, you have to make an internal decision. Do you want to be rich or do you want to be king? Do you want to own 20% of 1,000 crore business, or do you want to own 100% of 150 crore business? So when it comes to people whose mindset is I want to make money fast, I want to scale fast, I want to raise outside capital, you'll probably be rich. But if you put in that time, you really become the expert at what you do. You build a strong team, strong backend, strong everything, and then scale it. You'll probably be king. And if you get it both right, you'll be both.
Yeah.
So I think women have to make the decision for themselves.
So we learned at Duke, we learned the 10,000 hour rule. That you have to do something for 10,000 hours to be considered the expert, and that roughly translates to about 10 years, right? So you either do it for a long time and you become the expert, or you raise capital quickly and you become rich, like Devita said. Super. Thank you so much, Devita. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We enjoyed
Thank
having
you for having me.
I hope you liked our conversation with Devita, only on the Original Women Network, where we are decoding the startup world for you. Please write in with your feedback and your suggestions. See you next Saturday for another topic on startups.